Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something's happening in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Sorry,
and are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, we gotta go check. But we have to. Is he passed out? What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay. Sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
She's talking to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them.
Hello?
Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have it. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Where's she at?
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Up here? Up here, up here. You got us all that someone, and I checked this user's video, and I didn't check it yet, but I'm 13. Okay, get back. I don't know if they're still in here or not. I grabbed them. 1370. Okay, stay back there, please. Fuck. Slow down. Just come here. There's two. Looks like fatalities.
Good afternoon. What a day. What a day. 3 years down the road. 3 years down the road. Now, I will say Outcast, that's why there's a little symbol of his profile at the top. Outcast did a sync of all 4 cameras. I just took a few minutes for what I wanted to do with this intro. The 911 call, the transcript, all the rest of it, putting the other parts together. Outcast, there's a link in the description box. I don't remember how long his video is. It's over an hour though, where he took 4 of the cameras and synced them together to where you can get like a really good view of everything. This was supposed to start right at 55, 3-minute countdown. Right at 11:58 is whenever the 911 call was supposed to start playing. But something's wrong with my son's clock. I was off by some minute. I don't know why it stuck at 1:43. I went in there, I was like, okay, so what time is it now? 1:43. I was like, broski, it was 1:43 10 minutes ago. What do you mean? And he starts telling my friend, bro, I think my clock is stuck. It's the computer he bought. So hopefully he can fix that. Hopefully he can fix that. So what I want to do for today is just talk about the case, but we're going to look at some of the original news reports. I have a couple of them that I have ready to go. 2 from the 13th, local news, 2 from the 14th, local news. We're going to also rewatch the original press conference from 11/16 of 22. And then we are going to look at a very short interview that Steve did. I don't understand what's going on with this news station. This came out 19 hours ago and it has 37 views and it's Idaho News 6. That's insane to me. But then there's also something that was done on Idaho News 6 with the Chapins that was 14 hours ago that has 59 views. For some reason, people in Idaho just aren't even like watching their local news stations about this case, which is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. We're going to watch them. We're going to watch them. But first, let's say hi. Let's see who's in here. What a crazy day. 3 years we've been talking about this case. The first video on this channel about this case was actually 11/21 of 22. But I was following it over on Grizzly's channel because she was talking about it. There were several channels that were talking about it at the time. That honestly, Grizzly's is like the only one that I've seen like still in rotation. A lot of these other channels I don't even see existing anymore. Maybe they're just not in my peripherals anymore. I don't freaking know. But Twitter, other places, we talked about it in passing, but 11/21 was the first video on this case. And I really just didn't think about how big this would be. That's not like it's not in your mind when you first hear a situation, like how long is it going to go before we finally get some answers? And then here we are 3 years later, and yeah, sure, we've had a lot of stuff go on, but where's the answers? Where's the answers to any freaking thing? 3 years later, we don't know what time Xana and Ethan got back to King Road. We have no idea. No clue whatsoever. Before I say hi, I do want to show you guys, I'm going to read you guys an email that I got today, because remember, I asked Matthew Gamet at the Idaho State Police for his information regarding him and Blake are taking the DNA vial down to Othram. I got information. I have not clicked it. I have not looked at it because I just got it like 20 minutes ago. And I just haven't had the time. But let me read to you what I asked for. See, he sent this to me today. Let me read you what I asked for, and then I'm going to read you the response because I'm kind of aggravated. I'm really actually aggravated at the response. Like, there's something I get to see but there's like not a lot. Okay, so this was my request, and this was back on 9/22 of 25. I'm requesting any reports, notations, correspondence via emails or IM or other receipts and or anything related to ISP Forensic Lab Director Matthew Gamet, accompanying Sergeant Dustin Blaker with Moscow Police Department via airplane from Boise down to Houston, Texas on or around 11/22 of 22 to bring the DNA sample from the knife sheath found at the crime scene to Othram Labs in the Woodlands. He testified to this in a closed hearing on 1/23/25. The transcript was made public via the Idaho Public Interest website on or around 2/21/25. I have attached it. Please see page 96. Thank you. And this correspondence is with Matthew Gamet himself, which I didn't know that at the time of the request, but the responses are from him. ISP searched for email or other written communications between Matthew Gamet and Dustin Blaker or MPD in general regarding transport of the DNA sample to Othram Labs between a time frame of 11/12/22 to 12/31/22. Search terms included travel and or transport and or Othram and or airplane and or flight and or sheath and or Texas. You ready? You ready for the next sentence? There were no responsive applicable records. I'm sorry? What do you mean? What do you mean? Further, ISP searched for travel receipts or travel records for the trip, and responsive records are being provided. So what they're going to give me in this little blue linky here is apparently receipts. But that's it. No correspondence, no conversation, nothing. So I'm going to verify that when I click this damn thing after the live, and we'll probably go live tonight and discuss whatever this is, or we'll do Bethany's interview from the 16th. One of the two will happen tonight. How is there no emails? How is there no phone call logs? How is there no organization when it comes to putting this little trip together? I'm sorry. This was the strength of your case, and you have no correspondence from the lab who did the initial work, or the director that went with the police officer works. You have nothing. You have some receipts. You have no correspondence, no responsive applicable records. So I guess we'll see what the hell they're actually sending me later tonight, but I'm not impressed, and I'm aggravated as hell about that. Because there should be a shit ton of information. So the only other thing that I can really think of at this point is to ask Moscow, put in a FOIA, a secondary FOIA for those dates. Because right now, the knife sheath information that we're still waiting for, which I don't know what's taking so freaking long. It's only 3 days. It's the 13th through the 16th. It being found to the trooper picking it up and taking it to ISP is 3 days. And we're still waiting on it. It was like, what, $160 something? It was like an $80 deposit. I just don't see what's taking so long for 3 days worth of information. I just don't. So now I'm going to have to go in and do another FOIA for, I guess, like the 17th to the 22nd or the 23rd, maybe, or maybe even to the 24th, just to see if there's any correspondence in Moscow system. Because why would there not be any correspondence in ISP system if you're talking to each other? It's so stupid. I don't even understand. I don't even understand how dumb. I don't even understand. All right, let's see who's in here. And then we're going to start watching some news reports just to get a refresher. And then we're going to talk about how we have no answers all this time later. Oh, look, there's me. Hi, me. Hey, Charm Free. How you doing? Hey there, Gina. From your TV. Welcome, Ash. I almost named my kitty cat that. I almost did. Hey, Gracie. Maybe you can help us with things. The dumpster 315. I'm looking away. Is that the Taylor Avenue one? You can hear him saying something. I haven't watched those back in a while. I know that we need to. That's something else I'd like to see synced up. That's actually something that we're waiting for. So not really waiting for. It's something I plan on requesting. I'm just waiting until we get the 11/12 stuff back so that we can get calibrated correctly. But I plan on going in and asking for the timestamps of 11/12 of when the funeral home was coming back and forth. I want that. I will say, in one of the news reports that we're going to go over today, I want you guys, I'm going to point it out when it's the one up on the screen, but I want you guys to watch the back corner of this news report, because this is the one that I've been saying for a while. Like, if you look in the back corner, you can see people taking something out that looks like it's big. Like, it looks like it's a gurney. Like, if I didn't think it was a crime scene, I think they were taking out a table. But considering the timing of this like report, I'm going to assume it's them taking the bodies out. That's been my assumption from day one of seeing this report. So you guys can tell me what you guys think about it, but it's going to play today. I have it queued up. Again, we have 2 from the 13th, 2 from the 14th, the press release, the very first press conference they ever did, which was way too late. He should have been out there night of or the next morning on the 14th. It took way too long. Way too long. Then we're going to watch Steve, and then we're going to look at what the Chapins had to say. I watched about half of what Steve said. It's very short, but I have no idea. I have no idea what the Chapin one is. I have no clue. I just can't believe it's been this long, and we still, again, something so simple as what time did Xana and Ethan get home? Well, hey there. Thank you for coming in and commenting. Hello, hello, Ray Gigi. I went to this interview today about an internship. One of the men that interviewed me was a guy I briefly dated and ghosted. You know what's funny? Okay, I listened to Second Date Update on Brooke and Jeffrey in the morning. It's like out of Seattle, I think. I put my VPN on Seattle. It just like shows me the local stuff. So I listened to them for like 2 years or so now. I listened to one recently where this guy and this girl went out on a date, and he didn't realize it until she started talking about like this career, this job that she wanted like almost freaking 15 years before this date that she really, really wanted, and she never got the job. And the guy ghosted her, and she was trying to figure out what it was. So what they do is they call the radio station, and they get the radio station to call and try to figure out like why they're not getting a call back, why they're not getting a second date, right? It turns out the guy that she was on the date with was the guy she interviewed with, and the reason she didn't get her dream job. And he didn't know how she would take it. Once he realized it, he didn't want to tell her because like she talked about missing out on this dream job on their first date. She didn't want to say anything. It's going to change the dynamic a little bit. Yeah, that's funny. That's crazy. I wish everybody would pay more attention to the truths of things here, because Maddie and Kaylee, they might have been besties, but they have their own stories. Xana and Ethan, they might have been in a relationship, but they still have their own stories. I do like how they are making sure that like their connections stay connected. I understand that. I just don't feel like we've always known from the beginning, like you can't lump them together, right? Like we know whatever happened here, somebody had to be collateral damage. There's just no way with how different they were all living that this was like a full-on thing on all four for the exact same reason. Unless it is, and I'm just not quite understanding. But to me, somebody has to be collateral damage. But until we get the full-on truth, I don't know if we're going to ever be able to tell who was the collateral damage. And honestly, if you really think about like how much more like intense Kaylee's wounds were, I know a lot of people want to say that that says targeted, but to me that says pissed off. Like you were collateral, like you were in the way, and now you've ruined something, and now somebody's taking their extra anger out on you. That's sort of like where I've gone with it sometimes, because it doesn't always mean that the worst injuries is the target. It could be that they were the inconvenience, and it extremely angered the person who ended up doing that to them. I just don't understand how we have a plea deal and they never bother to ask. Why? How? When did you first see them? When did you first get a glimpse of this house? Like, no, nothing? How do we just know nothing? And you know what's really crazy? Did y'all know that Xana's mom, Kara's birthday was on the 8th? And that Kaylee's mom, Christy's birthday was just on the 9th? I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know the dates. I never looked. I didn't care enough to like dig into their families and to figure out all that kind of stuff. It's always like the people. But that's crazy to have a birthday and like less than a week later lose your kid. That is really wild. I saw that, and then the lawyer like mentioned something about Kohberger in court, like a true loser. Yeah. But I remember there was a case, I think it was in New York. This asshole was going like 95 or something like that, pretty close to 95, 100 on the streets, and plowed into this mother and daughter who just walked out of a concert and killed him. And the judge just like, yeah, he can get out. $0 bond. What? Y'all belong in a cell together. Lose your robes. I don't understand. It's so gross. Everything has just been so gross. I absolutely hate the way that the system is. And it's like this everywhere. And it's not like a racial thing either, because I know I see a lot of that. And it's not a racial thing. People of every color who do shitty things and go to jail seem to be able to just walk out just fine, no matter what color you are. No matter what color you are. It's not a racial thing. It's a justice system thing. It's a the government doesn't give a shit about you thing. It goes so much further. So much further. I did see that you said that your TV was acting crazy, Leah. Yeah, apparently I have a kid with a broken clock on his computer. Wild stuff. Now, I did see something that Plunder posted about Kohberger getting moved to a different cell. And it says it was done by staff request. I didn't listen to her whole thing because it was a lot of stuff about like the Lifetime movie. And I'm not sitting here to listen to all that. I'm just not. Especially whenever it's just an assumption that he was moved based on dates. Like you really don't have any freaking clue. But she had documents that said he was moved because of staff request. So I'm curious as to what the actual reason was, because it doesn't have any actual reasoning, just that it was done. I think back on like the 14th or something like that. Or maybe October 23rd. It was like in October. It was in October. So yeah, I don't know what that was all about, or if it was just like a normal thing, but staff request makes it sound like it's a reason. But I guess I'll try to figure it out myself, even though I honestly I don't really care about that kind of stuff. Like I care about the case facts. Like obviously like I'm paying attention to things, but to like file a FOIA and do all that stuff whenever that's not going to help prove anything. I don't know why the staff moved him. Who knows? Maybe people are being a-holes. Maybe they don't want to deal with his OCDs. I mean, honestly, who knows? It could be for any reason. It could be for absolutely any reason. Who knows? Oh my God. That's wild. I can imagine the cat's reaction. Oh, I got my coffee. Sure do. Third cup today. Third cup today. See, that's the part I don't understand. Dylan says she sees Xana that night, like in the nighttime, as everything's going on, and she can see so well that her room is messy with clothes on the floor and that she has no pants on. You can't see that red stuff everywhere. Then she says she sees Xana again, and she realized then that something must have been wrong because she was laying in the same position, or she was in the same position. That tells me that your mind has imprinted, or at least was able to remember the way that she was laying, the way her legs were, the way that her foot was tilted, the way that her arms were, wherever her head was. Like you obviously remembered. And now it's daytime. And you're still not mentioning that you see red on her. And it's not like she was in an all black outfit the way that we saw in the photos, to where the blood wasn't noticeable because the black was hiding it. She was in a gray sweater and no pants with her little bitty white old legs just sticking out. Where's your mentioning of the blood? Where? Then Dylan, when she's on the phone with the police, obviously you can tell that at some point she's like in the house, looking at Xana again. No, she's not breathing. No, she's not waking up. Because you can hear her say, no, come on, Bethany, we have to. And they go in the house. Why aren't you mentioning the fact that she's covered in blood? Why are you not mentioning the fact that there's pools of blood on the floor? Where is the blood? And it's not just Dylan. It's like everyone together. No one is mentioning the blood. And for Hunter himself to finally come out and say that he checked Xana's pulse, you're still not talking about blood. and she literally had stab wounds on the top of her head. Top of her head. How are you not mentioning blood? There's no reason for there not to be a mention of blood. That's like the most flabbergasting part of this, honestly. Like everything else is just like icing and cherries and sprinkles and all the rest of it when it comes to the bullshit. But number one for me is how the frick do y'all all see collectively what the hell is down that hallway? And no one mentions blood. It's very strange. It's so very strange. Yeah, don't forget to click the link in the description box so that y'all can go check out Outcast's full video of everything that he put together from those cams. But eventually I would like to see 1112 Taylor Avenue and Linda Lane all synced up together. And then the timestamps of the text messages and stuff also, which is something I'll probably work on. It's something I've been wanting to see for a while. I've heard the poor Kaylee thing in there before. But then I question, like, okay, why are we hearing you say something about poor Kaylee on the phone, but you're still like acting like you don't even know what's going on with Maddie and Kaylee whenever you're talking to the officer outside? That bothers me. See, I know. I don't understand how we're supposed to just believe that. That makes no sense. None. Hunter? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, exactly. How do you not see the blood? Yeah, they were calling. Yeah, you can hear Hunter yelling Xana's name in the 911 call, which is so crazy because what are you trying to do? Like, I know damn well that at that age, like, you've gone through enough science classes to know about decomposition and what the body does when it dies. Like, we learn this stuff in like grade school. We do. So how do you not know by looking at them that after 8 hours, you have no idea what you're looking at? There's just no reality where anybody, my 7-year-old could look at a body after 8 hours and know that something's wrong. I just don't understand how we're supposed to believe their story. I just don't get it. I really don't. I cannot wait, because eventually their actual messages are going to come out. Yeah. I cannot believe, like, how is he not under investigation and being disbarred, even in his retirement time, for being such a liar, for coming out and telling us all these lies? And Judge Hippler. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just asshole. Unbelievable. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's the one thing I don't know why they're not mentioning that. Like, they're saying, and we know that Christy has told us that there's like calls from Dylan on Kaylee's phone. Actually, that's the opposite. I take all that back. She says that there is not any phone calls on Christy's phone. And what we determined was that since it wasn't answered, it must not show up as a missed call on like them logging into the account. But if they had Kaylee's physical phone, then they could see the fact that there was missed calls. I don't know why wouldn't your account show missed calls too? Unless that part's a lie, but it's in the document that she called. The forensic download information shows that she did call. But there's no way that like everybody has their phone on silent. Everybody in the house has their phone on silent. How do you not hear all the phones ringing? That's a good point. None of them mention the phones ringing. Oh, welcome. Welcome back, shall I say. That's a good point. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm telling you, I'm going to show you all the views on these, and I am like flabbergasted that there's not more people looking at these. It's actually crazy. Like Steve Goncalves, Stacy Chapin, and less than 100 views in almost 24 hours. That's wild. It is, especially considering that we have no answers to shit. Literally none. Let me change this real quick. Yeah, even Ariel, she was like, the 13th gonna be 3 years. I was like, isn't that wild? Isn't that absolutely insane that it's been 3 freaking years? I'm just like, it feels like it just flew by, but not at the same time, because I know that we've gone through. Yeah, I mean, I still respect what she like, I guess like stands for and what she built, because that was like my inspiration was Grizzly. I just really wish that she wouldn't fall into like crime circus stuff or like into the, like, I don't know what she was doing with the Papa Roger thing. I still love her to death. I think she's great, but I had to back up. I had to. I still very much respect her, but I had to back up. Oh, welcome back, Johanna. Welcome back. And that's what you would think that they would have phone location information that shows when Xana and Ethan got home. And I just don't understand. Exactly. We don't know if they walked across. They don't know if they were driven over there by Barriocha. Because remember, his story is a story that we didn't hear until over the summer about how he was at that freaking party and he was a sobro, blah, 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 blah. And at like 1:45, whenever Xana goes to leave, she's like giving him shit because he never goes over to see her anymore. And I'm like, oh, convenient to make it sound as if you never walk into that house anymore. I don't trust none of it. None. And none. Oh, I know. I bought a pair of them. I only like to wear one at a time, you know. But yeah, I used to wear these all the time in high school. And then, like, remember those like rubber bracelets? Those little rubber bracelets that they were just literally like rubber plain colored bracelets. I had them like all the way up to here. One time, the principal hated me. I was one of 2 kids that had a professional tattoo in high school, because my mom took me to a parlor in Louisiana to get this one. As long as you have your license and birth certificate, you could have gotten one. It's a memorial tattoo for my uncle that was murdered. So I was like 15 and a half. She took me to go get it. And the principal hated me. Oh my God, he hated me. And like, I was the one that like got them to allow us to put, like, we could wear hair color. Because if certain people can wear a little, fake hair of certain color, why can't we have colored hair? That was my thing. Let's make this an equal playing field, okay? So he hated me for that too, because I won that fight and we got to start dyeing our hair. And then he called my mom to the principal's office. And granted, I was a straight A student. I was in a yearbook. I was straight A. I never was in trouble for nothing. He hated me because I was different. I was like real goth punk. So I would wear these and I would wear bracelets and stuff. He called my mom in one day and he was like, when is it going to stop? And they're all the way up to her armpits. And I was like, bro, now you're being super exaggerative. Like, you just don't like me because I break your stigma. And that's cool. But take your bullshit. Take your bullshit somewhere. Wild stuff. I mean, yeah. Because we have so many unanswered questions. I know that families do. I just really wish that Steve Goncalves was actually like looking at stuff now. Look, let me tell y'all. And I don't think that he's on any sort of like weight loss thing. I don't think this is an Olivia situation, but Steve does not look good. He's lost a lot of weight in the past couple months. And I know that Christy said that like after the plea deal, he sort of like spiraled, which I understand because that's not the way anybody expected this to go. We expected a trial. We expected accountability. We expected answers. And then there was nothing. He does not look healthy. He's like really, he's really withered. Like he's a lot thinner. You're see here if you haven't seen it. We're about to start watching these. It's just wild how everything's been affected, I guess. 23 months, 2 years, bro. That's a long time. That's a long time to put up with somebody. Thank you for the gifted membership, Becca. Oh, thank you, Nay. Thank you for the $27.90 from Brazil. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. I'm going to pop this stuff up on the screen now. Did that just say that you were Generation T-Rex? Where was that? I just saw that. Please don't let me have lost it. There it is. That's funny. All right, let's get down here. Let me get to the bottom. I just click the button. Let's just make this fast. Click the button. Okay. I know. Yeah. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Okay. We are going to start off with KTVB from November 13th. What do I hear? I feel like the dogs are separated and they don't like it. Maybe that's not what I'm hearing. If the dogs are in two separate rooms, or if one of the dogs get like put in one of the boys' rooms and the other dog's not in there, the door gets shut, they hate being separated. So I'll hear one of them start whining a little bit, but I don't think that's what that is. I think it's a game. I gotta verify. No, I think they're okay. I think they're okay. The new kitties really like to play in the bathtub, so they're hanging out in the bathtub right now. And you know what? Calypso's crazy ass slipped on out the door this morning, and I was the only one awake. You know what? It ended up being okay. Her and Zelly didn't get in no fight. Boomer, my boy dog that I was kind of worried about, just because like he's big, he's real gentle, but he's big. So I didn't know if she was going to freak out. He did really good with her. Oh, where'd I go? Oh, where'd I go? Okay. He did really good with her. And Lily did really good. She's just really hyper because she was the runt. She's the little tiny one. But they did really good. I was really, really happy with the way that they got together and just hung out this morning. So it's a progress. It's working. It's working. Next is the little baby. The little baby hisses at everything. Orange cat behavior for sure. But it's working out. It's working out just fine. It really is. Thank you for the $10, Malison. I like that. Malison. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. I'm sure they were. All of it was. Nobody's coming in there and just like saying stuff. They're definitely, hey, Jackie, they're definitely, it's all double checked and don't say this and make sure you say things this way. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, it sucks. They take like 45 to 50%. They make a lot of money. Holy shit, YouTube makes a lot of money. Woo. Yeah, I'll let the kids name the dogs, and that was what my son decided to name. Name the boy dog was Boom Boom. We call him Boom Boom. Or I call him Boomity Boom. Okay. Okay, here we go. Again, this is from, let me check this one more time. This is from 11/13/22. I'm pretty sure this is like the earliest one that was on here. I asked ChatGPT to try to find me the actual original one, but there were so many that came out in Idaho within like an hour or so of each other. It technically couldn't like dwindle it down. So I just did my own search, 2 from the 13th, 2 from the 14th, all local media. So this is what the story originally was that was coming out. Let's see how different things have changed, how things have changed.
And welcome to this early edition of the Sunday News at 5. I'm Doug Petcash. We begin with breaking news out of North Idaho. Students at the University of Idaho were asked to shelter in place earlier today. The University of Idaho says Moscow police are investigating a homicide on King Road, which, as you can see, is very close to campus. They say police don't have a suspect yet. Around 4 o'clock, the university posted on social media that the Moscow Police Department doesn't believe there is an active threat.
And remember how back and forth that was? We said 4 people murdered. You're in a vulnerable area, obviously. And the university is just doing whatever they want to do, sending out alerts, sending out things, not coordinating with the police, not making sure that they can send information out. And this is where it started. Shelter in place, active threat, be vigilant. But then, okay, now it's lifted. You can go on about your lives, but still pay attention. Oh, it's targeted. Oh, but then it's not targeted. Oh, but then it has to be targeted somehow. They went so back and forth. They would have been better off to shut the hell up. Like, obviously make like normal statements, but don't come out and give like a false sense of something if you have no freaking clue. Because it caused a lot of confusion. I know that a lot of people in the area were really upset with the back and forth because they didn't know what to think. And honestly, do they now? Do they today? Probably not. They're probably just as confused as we are.
The school has lifted the shelter-in-place requests, but asks people to remain vigilant. Just after 1 o'clock today, the university had sent an alert asking students to stay away from the area and to shelter in place. Again, that shelter in place has been lifted. According to the spokesman review, Moscow police say the initial call was for an unconscious person, and police are now investigating it as a homicide.
Makes no sense.
We'll continue to update this story as we learn more.
Makes no sense.
North Idaho, where 4 University of
No sense whatsoever. All right, now this one, this just like moved my box. Why did it move my box? Okay, this one is again from the 13th. KREM2, another local station.
This hour, we are tracking breaking news. Just a moment ago, Moscow police confirmed 4 people were found dead in a home just steps away from the University of Idaho campus. Right now, we're continuing to work to get more details tonight. We know that students were ordered to shelter in place for a time this afternoon because of the scene's proximity to campus. That order has been lifted. KREM 2 crews traveled down to Moscow as reports came in earlier today.
As soon as this gets bigger, I'm gonna point to a spot up here. Watch the corner, because I'm telling you, this is the bodies coming out of the house.
We go now to Janelle Finch, and she was one of the first reporters on scene to talk with police and with neighbors in the area. Janelle.
I've been here in Moscow on scene since about 3 p.m.
Is it showing? I can't tell on this stupid thing if it's letting you see it. Hold on. Like, is it showing? Hold on. I gotta make sure it's showing me circling it. Can y'all see me in my mouse? Okay, you can. All right. I didn't know if it was gonna actually like show it or not. Okay, look right here as this goes, because you're gonna see like it looks like a table, either a table or like a gurney, most likely a gurney. Like you can sort of see like the metal cross legs. Just watch.
Since I've been here, I've watched Moscow police cars come in and out of this neighborhood, where officials found 4 people dead. Neighbors say they began noticing police cars flood the area around 12 p.m. today. Moscow police say they responded to a call here on King Road for an unconscious individual. Upon further investigation, officials found 4 people dead.
Start over so y'all can watch that whole spot the whole time. So I don't remember if it shows it like towards this front piece or if it's at the end, but you can definitely see them bringing something out.
Been lifted. KREM 2 crews traveled down to Moscow as reports came in earlier today. We go now to Janelle Finch, and she was one of the first reporters on scene to talk.
She's standing at the intersection because the cops aren't letting her go all the way down the road. This is the intersection on the 1112 camera.
With police and with neighbors in the area. Janelle.
I've been here in Moscow on scene since about 3 p.m. Since I've been here, I've watched Moscow police cars come in and out of this neighborhood, where officials found 4 people dead. Neighbors say they began noticing police cars flood the area around 12 p.m. today. Moscow police say they responded to a call here on King Road for an unconscious individual. Upon further investigation, officials found 4 people dead. While police investigated the scene, the University of Idaho enacted a shelter-in-place alert as university officials reported a homicide near campus. As we've stated, that alert is lifted at this time. Neighbors say most people living in this area are a part of U of I Greek life or are students.
Is that on a camera? Did y'all see that? Is that on a camera up there? That has to show something. That has to be a camera.
This area are a part of U of I Greek life or are students, but we do not know the identities of those involved or who lives at the residence. Officials are investigating. This is a very much developing situation, and we will continue to stay on the grounds until we have more information to report back to you. Until then, in Moscow, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Very
Janelle.
in the background. I'm going to give y'all this link so y'all can go check it out yourself. It's what I noticed. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. It looks like they're taking, like it's a rolling gurney or something like that. They're carrying something out that looks pretty big. But go ahead and check that one out so that you guys can see if y'all can see what I can see. Okay. Now this is another one. This is from the next day. This is from the 14th. Again, it's Idaho News.
The students who were found on Sunday have been identified. Reporter Christina Bautista has the latest on the homicide investigation.
Moscow police has identified the 4 students found dead in an off-campus home. They have been identified as 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, 21-year-old Maddie Mogen, 20-year-old Xana Kernodle, and 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves. The cause of death for all of them is still unknown. The discovery was made by officers responding to a call of an unconscious person. According to a press release from Moscow PD, the case is being investigated as a homicide. Currently, nobody is in custody, but Moscow police say there is no risk to the community based on the preliminary investigation.
I'll be honest, our hearts are broken for the families of these 4 stellar students and their friends. This is an absolute nightmare and tragedy for them. And the Vandal family just sends our love, care, and support to them during this really horrific time. And we're appreciative of all the outreach of support that the university has received in conjunction that same way too. Just really appreciate that.
To honor the students, U of I has canceled all classes for today, but classes will resume tomorrow. Anyone with information on the case is asked to contact the Moscow Police Department.
There is also supposed to be some sort of like memorial thing tonight. I saw it on Twitter. I'm not sure where it's at, but that's supposed to be happening. I'm not seeing it for the families. It looks like it's for the school. Families probably invited, but I didn't see anything past that information. Okay. KREM2 again, the same day, the 14th. This is where they're giving whatever the update was for the next day. It's just so vague, so generalized. And I understand it's like in the very beginning, but damn, it's just so crazy how things changed.
Now we do want to get right to some breaking news this morning out of Moscow, as classes are canceled for the University of Idaho today following the deaths of 4 students.
Nicole Hernandez live in Moscow right now. Nicole, you've been there for an hour or so now. What are you hearing from police this morning?
So, Tim Channing, what we know right now is that police do still have this house here blocked off with crime tape, investigating here. We have one person also kind of manning the scene, making sure nobody messes with the area. But what we know is yesterday, this house right here is where police found 4 bodies. And later that day, University of Idaho confirmed that they were U of I students there. So take a look at this breakdown here of the timeline that we have of how things happened. About 1 p.m. we heard reports of a murder investigation, or excuse me, homicide investigation near the college campus. An hour later, the school put out an alert on social media. It said Moscow PD is investigating a homicide on King Road. They asked the community to stay away from the area and shelter in place as a precaution. Around 3 in the afternoon, KREM 2 arrived in Moscow. Neighbors said most people living in this area are part of U of I Greek.
I cannot believe how disgusting. They had to sit right here by this nasty trash. That's so freaking nasty. Oh.
U of I Greek life or our students. At around 5 in the evening, the Moscow Police Department confirmed they had found 4 people dead. But it wasn't until late that night that they confirmed the victims were students. The University of Idaho also said Moscow police do not think there's any active threat at the moment as they continue their investigation. And again, classes are canceled today for University of Idaho students. They will resume classes tomorrow in Moscow.
Crazy. All right. Now let's watch this first press conference. Get ready for the gaslighting, because now we know the truth. I hope that Chief Fry looks back at this and regrets it, and regrets the way that he handled this, because this was such in poor taste. For real, it's full of alcohol and beer that's been sitting out. I'm just thinking about it. God. And they had to sit next to that. Now, obviously not for very long. They could have put them somewhere else. Next to the nasty ass trash can. That was wild to me. Make this bigger. Yep, and there's green. See, I really think that it's him sitting in the lobby. I'm gonna have to go back to Atlanta's stuff and watch it. But I really do think that it's him sitting in there. And this isn't my internet, like it's this thing. Let me refresh it just to like make sure, because damn, this is like complicated. That's a little bit better. Yeah, it's still funky. Hey. Yeah, they should have been. And then they didn't even separate them when they got them to the police department. They, according to Truth and Transparency's stream about the lobby stuff, they all just got put in like one room together. No separation, no nothing. I've never seen something so unprofessionally done.
Here. My name is Chief James Fry with the Moscow Police Department. I'm going to be reading from my notes today because I want the information you received to be extremely accurate.
I'm sure you don't.
We know you have questions, and so do we. That is why we're here.
Bro, for real.
I'd like to thank everyone for attending this press conference. Joining me today is the Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson, University of Idaho President Scott Green, Provost and Vice President Tori Lawrence, University of Idaho Dean of Students Blaine Eccles, Latah County Sheriff Richie Skiles, Chief Deputy of Latah County Tim Best, Idaho State Police Colonel Kedrick Wills. The Moscow Police Department would like to extend our condolences to all family members, friends, the University of Idaho, and the Moscow community. This was a horrible crime that took the lives of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Goncalves. This horrible crime has affected all of us, the families, the University of Idaho, our community, our country, and our officers. Agencies that are involved in this task force include Latah County Sheriff's Office, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations. As we continue our investigation, we have learned that Ethan and Xana were at a party on campus, and Madison and Kaylee were at a downtown bar.
That Ethan and Xana and Maddie and Dylan and Bethany were all at the same party, and for some reason they felt the need not to tell us that. That Dylan actually saw Xana and Ethan at a later time at around like 10:30 at night, whereas in the PCA, they're giving us between 8 and 9 p.m. with Bethany. Why wouldn't you give us the closer to the crime timeline? Make that stupid shit make sense.
They arrived home sometime after 1:45. If anyone in our community or across our nation has any information about these times or the victim's whereabouts, please call our tip line.
Why? Why? You're not going to put the real time out there. We know you won't put the real time out there. The families had to come out and put the real time out there. So what's the point? You're not going to use it. I knew this is going to make me mad.
At 208-883-7180. The facts of the case that we know right now. We know that these homicides occurred in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th. Around noon, Moscow officers received a call of an unconscious person. Officers discovered the bodies of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Maddie Mogen, and Kaylee Goncalves inside the residence on King Road. Before we're
like, you realize that like by now he's had conversations with both Olivia and Steve. Like, it's in the police reports that at this point, Olivia and Steve have made themselves very well known. They've already, at this point, sent over Kaylee's information about the grub truck, about the Twitch video, about Eric Gower by the time this press conference happened. And he still can't say her name right. It's wild.
Stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been located at this time. There was no sign of forced entry into the residence. Investigators are continuing to collect evidence at the scene. Investigators are working to develop a timeline to relevant events. Autopsies are taking place today on all the victims so we can continue to gather evidence and solve the crime. Investigators are working to follow up on all leads and to identify a person of interest. Based on details at the scene, we believe this was an isolated, targeted.
Oh, yeah, you can imagine in the 3 days in between the 13th and the 16th for this press conference, they have gone in, especially with the FBI involved, and scoured so much. They have so much information at this point, and they're still actually sitting there pretending like they don't. To this day, 3 years later, they still pretend like they don't have it. You have it. That's why you're acting like you don't have it, because you don't want us to see it. Prove me wrong. I've been trying to be wrong this whole time. Still waiting, very patiently.
Attack on our victims. We do not have a suspect at this time, and that individual is still out there. We cannot say that there's no threat to the community. And as we have stated, please stay vigilant, report any suspicious activity, and be aware of your surroundings at all times. What we do know, or what we don't know, the identity and location of the suspect, the location of the knife or any clothing that was worn by the suspect. Currently, we have 25 plus investigators working this case, as well as assistance from the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Idaho State Police. We're reviewing video that has been collected, but we are asking citizens to contact us with any information you may have that will help in this investigation. Once again, we're asking anyone with it to call the tip line at 208-883-7180. At this time, I would like to introduce the University of Idaho President, Scott Green.
Which, again, I don't really quite understand why. Like, I get it for their reasoning, but in my logical mind, y'all don't belong here. This was an off-campus house. This was not a sorority house. All of these people were paying rent to a person that had nothing to do with the university. They were not even in the same sorority. There's no reason for the university to have stepped in the way that they did. That was red flag number one. Massive red flag number one. Especially if home dude is the one sitting in the lobby. This didn't happen at Sigma Chi. This didn't happen at a frat house. This didn't happen at a sorority house. Why are you here? Weird.
Thank you, Chief Fry. I'm Scott Green, president of the University of Idaho, and with me is Tori Lawrence. He's our provost, and Blaine Eccles, our dean of students, will be available for.
That would be incorrect, because at 2:10, whenever Dylan is messaging Eric Gower, Xana and Ethan are still not home according to the records. So it's after that. It's after that.
questions after all of the statements are made. The crime, to us, this crime and the loss of these young lives is just simply beyond comprehension. While our small.
Well, that's the thing. It was never given to them. It was pledged to them, which means if you need it, I'll give it to you, but it's not going to be given to you until you tell me that you need it. So according to Karen over on the interview room, who's been the one digging into all the financial files, she's the reason why we know that they only spent like $3,000 on counseling services. That's it. They were pledged $1 million, but what they ended up actually getting was like $435,000. That's why I'm really confused about what was going on, because as far as everyone has been like concerned, and somebody did send me like the deed information and like the property records. I've got to sit down and actually look through the whole thing. But that's why I was confused when Chris McDonough popped up that somebody bought the house, or that they bought the house for $400,000, because your wife is the one who did all the research. And if that's not accurate, why in the actual F would you pop that on the screen as your wife is talking about this if you know that it's not true? So I don't know why the frick he did that. I don't. But according to Karen, who has the records, they were given $435,000 for what? I don't know. Because again, they spent $3,000, a few pennies more than $3,000 on counseling services. So where's all the rest of this money? Y'all got fundraiser money for the memorial. So did it cost $435,000 to demo that house? Or did y'all really, like, I don't know. Was it an under the table sale? And that's why it looks like it was donated and the dude really just got to pocket a bunch of cash? I have questions. I have so many questions.
Community is certainly not immune to such things. It's not a situation our close-knit campus is used to dealing with. First, my deepest condolences.
You know, I still need to read that. Not his book. I don't really give two shits about his book. I only want to read the ending portion where he snuck in something about this case. I've never read it. I'm just curious as to what it says.
To the families.
That part.
And friends of Ethan, Kaylee, Xana, and Madison. Excuse me. Their loss has been devastating, and they were bright lights in our community and are deeply missed and remain in our thoughts and our prayers. We've been working with Moscow police since we were notified on Sunday of the crime. We've helped when asked and continually push for information whenever possible, knowing that we cannot interfere with the important work and good investigations that are occurring. We just want justice for these victims. Our focus at the university is to support our students and our employees. We are encouraging students and employees to take care of themselves as we head into Thanksgiving break. I want to take a moment to commend our faculty and staff who have been on the front lines helping our students, whether that is providing counseling to those in need of support, accommodating those who want to travel home, or engaging those.
I'm going to request Jeff's interview. The main reason I have not bothered requesting any of the family members' interviews is because the person that put that really great website together, Spiral Index, that I gave you guys the link for, they posted on Twitter a while back. They tried to get the Chapin's interviews, Maisie and Hunter's, and they were told that due to personal reasons, like personal privacy reasons, they weren't releasing them. So they're releasing friends, but and obviously ex-boyfriend, because we've got Jax. But they're going to just deny me, I think. So I'm going to just try, because I really want to know the timeline. The report for Jeff and Jasmine, when it comes to Xana, has them last speaking to her on the 11th and not the 12th. Or the morning of the 13th, if it was after midnight. Like, that's their recollection in the report. But that's never been Jeff's recollection on camera when he's been out here talking. And he has reiterated that as of the plea hearing when he gave his victim statement. He is letting this eat him alive, that he could have gone over there that night. But in the report, it says he last spoke to her on the 11th. So which one is it? I need to know. I think everybody needs to know. So I'm going to request it. After we get the 11-12 stuff squared away, I have a list of things that I'm going to request. I just don't know if they're going to give it out. And I also don't want to just throw that out there either. I probably will get it and only honestly play the parts that give a timeline, because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to go and put these parents out there in like their most vulnerable state. I'm not going to be the person who does that. Somebody else might want to be an a-hole. I'm not going to do it. I'll get the damn thing. I'll pay for the damn thing, but I'm only going to put out there what's necessary. I'm not going to post the entire thing. I won't do that to them. And if that pisses people off, I don't really care. That's just how that's going to work. But I'm going to try to get it.
To find comfort in staying busy interacting with their peers and our instructors in class. Our employees stepped up when our students needed them. While we have relied heavily on the expertise of Moscow police, we feel
FBI said no. Oh, we reviewed it. Couple channels, I think Connor has it by itself. I don't know who else has it by itself. Is it Connor that has it? Connor, Plunder, Gray Hughes, Lana, me, and oh my God, there's one other one. I don't like her at all. Zap girl, I can't stand her. Can't stand her. But she's the first one I saw that had the Jack Jacory interview. So it's out there. But we did do a review of it. They won't. FBI said no. I don't know why. I asked very specifically. FBI, that's actually part of the recorded phone call. I have 3 phone calls I had with them the day that I found out that they actually did find the footage, because the first call was, oh, we don't know where it's at. And then she called me back, hey, we found it. It's in a subfolder. That was part of that conversation. And I laughed when she said, FBI said so. I was like, yeah, FBI said so. What? They just said so. They said so. Moscow police never interviewed Kohberger. That came out of Amber's mouth. Amber is the legal assistant in the FOIA office. They never interviewed him. They never interviewed the family. The only interview that they have is the one in Pennsylvania after the arrest that we've read the report for, that belongs to Pennsylvania. And you have to go through 1,000 pieces of red tape to get it. So I might have to. I don't know why like these news stations aren't doing it, because they've got lawyers literally in their pocket. And it takes a subpoena in a courtroom to get stuff in Pennsylvania like that. If it's not already out to the public, then you have to go through all this red tape. So I don't know why no one is doing it that can and has the means. Like, what are you doing, Eden? What are you doing, Banfield? What are you doing, Vinnie-Politan? What are you doing, Como? Like, what are you doing? So we're going to figure it out. I don't know how I'm supposed to do something in Pennsylvania from Texas, but I'll figure it out. I know there's people willing to help. I just don't know who to trust. So I probably just need to get a hold of some sort of attorney up there. Maybe there's somebody who's following the case that'll just to help to get it out there. Because that should have been the first thing that we saw. This should have been the first thing. But that's the only one that's like local level, is the one in Pennsylvania. Whatever else is done, it's FBI, and they said it ain't happening.
Confident that remaining open with flexibility to leave allows our students to decide what is best for them. The weeks ahead will continue to challenge us.
That's not even his real name. Like that's a fake name that he uses out here so people don't go crazy. I mean, yeah, he's cool, but he's also like, I don't know who he really is, honestly, when it comes to like who he actually is. So I can't, even though I have nothing against him, he's out here using a fake name. So I'm not going to do that either. But I'm going to find an attorney. There has to be a lawyer in Pennsylvania that's watching this case. Maybe that watches this channel. I don't know. But there has to be somebody in Pennsylvania that can help me with this that's actually like in the legal field. So I just have to look for it. Like, I know that there's residents there that are willing to help, but I need an attorney because this process is different. I've never, ever had to file a subpoena in a courtroom to get a FOIA request responded to. And that's another thing I'm worried about. Like, what if we go through all of that And then like they still say no because the FBI. Because Moscow's just telling me what Moscow's telling me. I guess I need to call Pennsylvania. Like, we've done the FOIA. I've gone through it. Like, I have a video where it showed you guys my response from Pennsylvania about the subpoena and everything. I guess I just need to call them and be like, okay, but if I do this, is it a guarantee that you're going to give me what I'm asking for? Or am I going to go through all this shit, spend all this money on getting this shit filed just for y'all to tell me no? For some reason, it's out of my hands because it's FBI. Guess we'll find out.
As this loss and the circumstances around this crime become known, we will support each other as we grieve, and we'll move through this together as a Vandal family. Thank you.
I would like to have Colonel Kedrick Wills come to the podium, please.
Good afternoon.
It's so blurry. I know it's not my computer. I'm literally the only one using the internet, and I'm hooked up to an Ethernet cord. This just must be crappy from then.
My name is Kedrick Wills. I serve as the director of the Idaho State Police. And as we have this discussion today, I'd like...
Is that the one in Pennsylvania? Is that Pennsylvania's governor? You know what? That's not a bad freaking idea. Grab my bone pin and write them down.
I'd like to express my appreciation for your attendance here, because it's important, vitally important, that we get the information that we have out to the public. Crime knows no boundaries, and these murders have shaken us to our very core. You heard the university president as well as the chief of police talk about this small community, and it's a very close, tight-knit community. And our hearts break for the families that lost their loved ones, the University of Idaho, the Moscow community, and even within our...
I didn't even realize I clicked on that. Really? I thought I was still clicking on this one. He is? I mean, I've watched him a couple times. The main thing I know about Gavin Fish, he has a really, really good website. But I don't really watch him. But he's in PA. That's interesting. Okay, maybe I'll try to get a hold of him. Maybe I'll try to get a hold of him. I'll try Shapiro first. But maybe I'll reach out to Mr. Fish.
Our state. Be assured, the Idaho State Police is firmly in support of the work that the Moscow Police Department is doing, and we are providing every resource that we can to make sure that this comes to a conclusion, and the person or people that this is responsible are brought to justice. It's so important that you understand that this takes a team effort. This is teamwork with the university, with this Moscow City Police Department, the Latah County Sheriff's Office, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
How JLR is allowed to walk free amongst us, I honestly don't understand. I don't. He's sadistic. He's real screwed up in the head. He's literally Looney Tune straitjacket worthy. I don't give a damn. I don't like him. He's a shit starter. He's an instigator. He's a lie spreader. He's a lawbreaker. He's a manipulator. He's two-faced. He's disgusting. All the way back to Sandy Hook. Like, come on, bro. You've been doing some evil, foul shit for a long time. Black ass heart.
It takes everybody to be able to do this. And it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act of getting the community the information that they need to have with making sure that we provide a case that the Latah County Prosecutor's Office can go forward with.
I'll go grab it.
Governor Little, Idaho's governor, full weight of all the resources we have within our state are available to Chief Fry and to his team. Our crime lab is also involved with processing evidence, and our law enforcement throughout the region, state and federal agencies continue to provide resources. From the Idaho State Police's perspective, we provided detectives here from this area, as well as detectives from out of the area, state police detectives, as well as patrol resources and communications assistance as well to provide for Chief Fry and his team. Following this this briefing. Our communications director from the Idaho State Police, Aaron Snell, if you'd raise your hand, Aaron, he will be the contact for all press media inquiries from here on out. He'll be working closely with Chief Fry and his team. And we have additional, like I said, additional patrol and investigation resources brought to bear here as well. We want to do everything we can to make sure that this is done correctly and that the people that are responsible for this are brought to justice.
This is such bad quality.
So at this time, I'm going to open it up to some questions that I'm sure you have, and we'll do the best we can to answer those for you.
Hello, Chief Ray.
Hello.
Thank you for having us. I'm Amanda Rowley with Creme 2 News. You mentioned that there's an indication that it's an isolated, targeted incident, and there is an individual somewhere. Can you give us a reason as to why there's that belief there is a suspect? Can you also give a little more information on the forced entry? There's no sign of forced entry, but was the door, did it seem like any of the entries were left unlocked by any means?
Yeah, he was lead within 24 hours. Within 24 hours.
I'll answer the last part there just because it's at the front end of my mind. We're not 100% sure if the door was unlocked, but there was no damage to anything and the door was still open.
And what is it that we learned? None of the damn doors worked. None of the locks worked. None of them, the back or the front. All malfunction.
When we got there.
And my first question,
Yeah.
if you'd like me to read.
No, I think I haven't. In these cases, we take the totality of the things that we see, and they're very dynamic, right? And they're very big, and there's a lot of information. And we try to take that information, and some of it we can't share with you, correct? But we try to take that information. We try to make the best educated decision we can. We review that as a team with our detectives, along with our prosecutors, along with the university, and we try to make that best decision on that. So we, at that time, believe that there was no a threat, and our goal is to provide safety for this community. That's why we're bringing in the resources we're bringing. We want a close to this, and we want to do everything we can to let the people in our community know that we care. We want them to feel safe. We want them to be safe, and we're going to do everything we can to do that.
And if I could add one more question. You asked for videos or anything from the community to help put together that timeline.
No way. Christy's in frickin' Pennsylvania? Hell yeah, she's a FOIA warrior. She goes and gets all kinds of crazy stuff. I didn't know she was in PA. That's so good to know. That's good to know. Okay.
We obtained a copy of Twitch video, and family members of the Goncalves family were able to identify Maddie and Kaylee in those videos at a food truck ordering food. Is the police department, our investigators, aware of that video, and has it helped put together?
Which is true, but only if they've reported it. Only if they've reported it. Can the management company be held liable for the locks and the door not working? If they're not telling them anything, then it's technically not their responsibility because they didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, unless they're supposed to be like doing some sort of like routine checks, which I rented for years before having a mortgage. Okay. Apartments, trailers, houses, all the things. I only ever had somebody coming around to check things at an apartment. And it wasn't to like check things. It was like pest control guys coming in, and he reports back to the company if like there's locks messed up or there's stuff that's damaged that needs to be done, or we report it ourselves. But a house rental, I've never once had somebody come around and check anything. Anytime anything was ever broken, they only knew about it because I had to tell them. So if the girls are not telling Team Idaho, hey, our freaking lock isn't locked in and we came home and our door was wide open, the management company doesn't have liability. Only if they refuse to fix it.
with that timeline.
We are aware of that video, and it has helped. It gives us a time and space where we know that 2 of our victims were, and that helps us a ton, and we'll continue to follow up all leads that we can and continue to gather those.
Any indication of a party?
Okay, but it's not the same thing here. They had constantly like new people coming in and out, coming in and out, coming in and out. So again, unless there's like a maintenance report where Dylan or Bethany or Kaylee or Maddie or Xana called in or emailed and said, hey, our front door is not working. The lock is not locking. We need you to come fix it. And they ignored it. It's not their liability unless somebody in that home that's on the leases contacted them and said, hey, our back slider is not locking. Somebody can come up and just literally do this little movement with their finger and pop it open. And if they're not told, then they can't do anything. And it's not like they're moving in and out like full-on tenants. I understand what you mean, but this isn't the same scenario. This isn't the entire house leaves and then the locks have to get changed and now we're trying to make it look good so somebody wants to rent it again. That's not the situation here. It's different. So again, unless they've like reported the fact that the locks aren't working, I don't know how liable the company is because they can't fix something that they don't know is broken. You know what I mean?
The home that night.
And this will be the last one. Okay, I understand. Not that we know of, not at the home. We know that the other, let me get the names exactly right here. We know that Xana and
I didn't know there was a no dog policy. That would be a reason. I know when I lived at my apartment, when I had my cat Victus, anything that broke, I fixed it myself. I didn't want them coming in and knowing I had a cat. I wouldn't pay a $350 deposit and kiss my ass. Straight up. So maybe that's why they didn't. I don't know. But to hide my pet, yeah, I'd fix shit myself all the time.
Ethan, we're at a different party on campus. But that timeline will still help us if other people know about that.
Thank you.
Chief Wright, John Webb with KHQ. On September 12th, there was a vandal alert that was sent out about a potential stabbing threat on Paradise Path. Does this have any connection with
this? Was interesting too. How it wasn't connected.
Not that we know of it, but we're following up every lead. Every piece of information we get, we are following up to ensure that nothing has gone unturned. We want to have the individual identified, who is the suspect of this eventually. So we are literally looking into every aspect of everything.
And you guys have said repeatedly that there's no threat to the public, but we don't know who the suspect is. We don't know where he's at. How is there no threat to the public at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of an unknown. Like I said, we took the information that we had at the time.
I think that's the guy that's friends with Xana and Ethan, the one who's talking. I think that's who that is.
But we do need to be aware.
A juvenile child. A underage girl. I had that report before the plea deal. Chris McDonough and his wife tried to say that because the plea deal and the gag order being lifted, they suddenly had the report. We had the report weeks before they did. The laws that were highlighted to me when it was given to me from the FOIA office was all about a minor child's health and well-being with the welfare services. So it was a juvenile minor girl that had something to do with Buddy the dog, regardless of what Chris McDonough tries to say.
The individual is still out there, right? We need to be vigilant. We need to watch out for our neighbors. We're a community policing community. We've said that for years, and it's a community that watches out for each other. We need to continue to do that until we can close this off and make an arrest.
Why has there been such limited information over the past couple of days? I mean, we're almost 4 days into this. Why has it been so limited?
Yeah, it's a difficult, we have a lot of information coming in, and, we have tried to push out some information through press releases. But the reality is, I probably should have been standing here a day or so ago, but I'm here now. We're going to continue to be here. We're going to continue to give you the information we can. We care about this community. I care about this community. I've worked here for 27 years. I want this community to be the safest community around. So
the mayor's called it a crime of passion. Is there any indication that that's true?
We're looking into every aspect of this.
Automatically like
I'm not going to stipulate whether it's one thing or another. We're going to continue to investigate until we have the facts, because really it's the facts that will drive what the cause of this is. And as we gather evidence, we'll get that. So.
Okay. One last question, if I could, Chief. Have we looked at any boyfriends or any ex-boyfriends, any spouses as a potential suspect?
I will tell you, we are looking at everyone. Every tip we get.
Okay. This was the video that I posted on June 9th, 2025. After I received the FOIA information from Moscow regarding Buddy. This video, July 31st, okay, almost 2 months later. This one's June 9th. Chris McDonough came out July 31st. Lied. Tried to say they got the FOIA information because the plea deal ixnayed the gag order, and that was a freaking lie. They also did not show the rules that were highlighted by the FOIA office for why it was being given to us the way that it was given to us. They decided not to show you guys the truth. I don't know why. I don't know why they want to put Buddy the dog on Kohberger so freaking bad that they're just like ignoring the actual facts in their faces, highlighted in yellow. I don't really quite comprehend it, but that's the link. That's the link. And it shows, I show the full report. Do I have it? Did I put the post on the Google Drive, guys? I think I might have actually put the report on the shared drive for the channel. So let me let this play and let me go check. And if it is, I'll drop the link in the thing too.
Every lead we get, there's no one that we're not going to talk to. There's no one we're not going to interview. There's no one that we're not going to look into. And we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to make sure that nothing goes unturned. Do everything we can with the assistance of all the resources we have.
I sure did. I sure did. Look at that right there. All right. Let me make this share again. Here is the report for yourselves. Shared Google Drive. It has the report. See the report? You see how things are highlighted a certain way? All right, we get down here. This is the big one right here. Records of investigations prepared by the Department of Health and Welfare pursuant to its statutory responsibilities dealing with the protection of children, the rehabilitation of youth, adoptions, and the commitment of mentally ill persons. For reasons of health and safety, best interest of the child or public interest, the child or public interest, the Department of Health and Welfare may provide for the disclosure of records of investigations associated with actions pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 16, Title 16, Idaho Code, prepared by the Department of Health and Welfare pursuant to its statutory responsibilities dealing with the protection of children, except any such records regarding adoptions shall remain exempt from disclosure. And the reason why we know that it's a female is because in the report itself, it talks about how the family was worried that there was this juvenile female that might have been responsible. Turns out that was the exact case. So there's the report. And that's the truth of it. And y'all got the links.
Get a final answer.
Thanks, Chief.
So there were, sorry, I'm Emma Epperly with this Books interview. Hi. So there were other roommates who lived at that residence. Were the roommates home at the time of the attack?
There was other people home at that time, but we're not just focusing just on them. We're focusing on everybody that may be coming and going from that residence.
So since they were home, was it a hostage situation?
No, it was not.
And then they didn't call it into police. So were they injured?
No.
They were not injured. But like I said, we're still following up with everybody that could have been in that area.
Sure. And how can you say it's a targeted attack if you don't have a suspect?
Yeah. Answer that.
Like I said, we take the totality of the situation. We try to make the best bit of information we can with everything that comes in, and then we make our decision off of that. So at this time, I'm not going to expand upon that. But like I've said, we do have out somewhere, and we are looking for that individual to solve this.
Remember, Dylan was dreaming of a woman with a big nose. How is she describing Molly? Like, you realize that, like, she was wearing pretty much like all black in her outfit, right? Now, I know that it's like a black and white camera, and she could be wearing like navy blue or some shit. But the outfit that she's wearing in the 11-12 camera, whenever you're seeing her like go down to the little three-way and turn around, it looks like she's wearing all black. So for Dylan to be like, oh, I was dreaming of a woman with a big nose and all black. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You literally just described somebody at the scene. Crazy shit.
Hi, Rachel Sun, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I just want to clarify something you said earlier. Over the past couple of days, the information that we've been getting is there's not a threat to the public. And earlier I heard you say you can't be assured that there is no threat. I just want to clarify what your stance is on that at this time.
So we still believe it's a targeted attack, but the reality is there's still out there who committed 4 horrible crimes. So I think we got to go back to there is a threat out there still, possibly. We don't know. We don't believe it's going to be to anybody else, but we all have to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're watching out for each other.
Okay, and then one other follow-up.
Normal.
I know you said when the call came in, it was for an unconscious person, and also that was a stabbing. It seems, just from an outside perspective looking in, like that would be not the first thing a person calling in would think.
You're right. But the report that we got was that it was an unconscious individual. It wasn't until our officers arrived on scene, went in to do caregiving check on the individual who was unconscious, that we found the scene that we found.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
How are the cops instantly not being like, you didn't see that blood? What do you mean unconscious person? Why didn't you tell us this was a bloody scene? I was expecting to hear something sort of like that on the body cam, like whenever Nunes and Warner pulled up and they're talking to them, like, why did none of them say, y'all didn't see that blood? Y'all didn't, why didn't y'all tell us about all the blood? No one asks that question. No one has asked that question. And we've listened to a lot of interviews so far. Seems like that'd have been like the first thing. I know.
Hi, Heather Roberts with ABC News. Just to follow up on what she asked. So the other 2 roommates were there at the time of the attack?
All the information that we have from our investigation is that, yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That is correct.
So is there any explanation as to why it took so long then for someone to call 911? You have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses. I said they were there.
But Dylan was your only witness. So how are you going to sit here in the very beginning and be like, oh, they weren't witnesses. Freaking Bethany heard some shit and Dylan saw everything because the walls are paper thin. Like, what? Oh my God. We were being so lied to. So disgusting.
So, we don't know why that call came in at noon and not in the middle of the night.
Yeah, the only person.
Would we love for that to have happened? Yes, but that's not how it took place. So that's why we're investigating everything still to try to pull all the pieces together.
Were they one of the people, were they the 911 caller?
At this point in time, I'm not going to divulge who our 911 call.
Isn't that the most ignorant shit? I never understood why they didn't just say, yes, one of the surviving roommates made the 911 call. That's a very normal thing in people's brain to think happened. So this is where all the bullshit sparked, because we were led to believe that Hunter yelled for them to get the F out and they ran outside hyperventilating and freaking out, and one of them passed out on the freaking grass, and some stranger came by and grabbed the phone and finished the 911 call. They allowed all of that insanity. Nobody passed out. The unconscious person was Xana because they're full of shit. It wasn't the roommate outside that passed out. And that was getting spread everywhere. Oh, one of them passed out. Y'all are gonna feel so bad whenever you realize just how freaked out they were because one of them passed out on the floor outside. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Why not just say, yes, one of the survivors that was there in that 8 hours called 911? Why lie? Or not even lie. Why not tell us that? Why keep that a secret is the correct verbiage to use. Why keep that a secret? How dumb.
Caller is just because I want to keep
from the
the
beginning.
integrity of the investigation at this point. Okay.
Okay. And last question, are you able to tell whether the same weapon was used on all 4
Me
victims?
too. Oh my God, me too.
You know, that's why we're having the autopsies done. The autopsy will confirm that and hopefully collect some evidence for us, even from those. That's why you do the autopsy.
Oh, thank you for the 2, Simper. Thank you for always voicing what we all think. I think that's why I feel like I'm really controversial, because I will just like say what's on my mind. And it's actually really insane, like how many people are like, that's literally what I was thinking. So many people are like scared to say stuff because look at the backlash. I mean, I get shit tons of it. But that's fine. I'll take the heat. Just keep channeling me all your thoughts. I'll take the heat.
Is just to try to be thorough and try to gather more. So we'll leave that would probably be something that would come out later.
Okay.
Excuse me, Derek Shug, Fox News Digital. Was there anything missing in the home, or were the purses still there? Any robbery attempt, anything like that?
Yeah.
Nothing that we have.
That's the craziest part for me. That's the craziest part for me. Like, okay, you didn't see anything that gave you a hint? Nothing? Nothing at all. There's no trail between the 2 rooms. I don't comprehend that. How can you just like not drip something? Now, I know that there's a bunch of stuff going on, and I still have to look and see what the documents say about blood on the table, maybe being Kaylee's. I don't know if that's what it says or not. I have to still look at it myself. But if that's it, and there's just like a single nothingness of Kaylee's on that little table, and that's the only spillage for how damaged everyone was, I just don't see how that's possible.
Identified. And I'm going to take about 2 more questions. All right.
Hi, I'm Tim with the Daily Evergreen. I was just wondering, were the 2 other individuals present at the home when police responded at noon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Chief, if you don't mind elaborating a bit more on those
Mr.
2 people.
Miles.
Was it 2 people? What have those people shared about the circumstances of that night, what they saw or didn't see?
Well, I'm not going to go into what they shared that night. Obviously, that's part of our investigation. That's part of the information that we're trying to build our complete story with. So at that, as far as that goes, we're not going to go any further into what they know and what they don't know.
How many were there?
We believe 2.
We believe.
Social media accounts of all the different victims. Do you? We understand that one may have had an account linked to her Instagram account. Have you looked into those accounts? Have you seen any sort of threats made to any of the individuals?
So we are looking at all resources. You know, we got the Federal Bureau of Investigation helping us. We got our detectives, our forensic detectives looking into that. We're trying to pull this whole picture. We're looking at everything that we can look at, social media, etc. So to answer your question, yes, we are.
Were the victims all found in one part of the house?
I'm not going to divulge that either. That's part of our investigation. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and close this off.
Like, what would be the reason to not say, no, it was 2 individual bedrooms, 2 victims per bedroom? What would have been the harm in saying that? I just don't get it.
But if you have any questions for the university, we'll open that up at this point in time.
Why would anyone really have a question for the school at this point? I don't get that.
Who has not had a chance to ask a question? Yes, over here.
Me?
Here and then here.
Oh, thanks. Actually, I had a question for the chief, so I don't know.
Okay, well, you want to pass it?
Okay. What is the university doing to make their students feel safe?
Yeah, great question. At this time, I think I'll turn this over to Blaine.
Great question. They told everybody to go home. They told everybody to leave. That's what they did. That was like not the move to make. Like, I understand that people were going to leave anyway because, like, what the frick just happened? I got to get out of here. Like, this is too much for me. I understand that. But whenever the school is literally being like, go home, go remote, go do what you got to do, same day, and the cops haven't even gotten like their bearings yet. The school really, I feel like it was damage control, but I also feel like it was like for them to be able to get in there and like sabotage shit. Because who in their right minds with a college degree and a brain would think that sending everybody home that was in that area at the time was the best move to make right after a quadruple homicide? That was dumb.
Who's been dealing directly with our students and dealing with those that truly still feel unsafe despite some of the assurances and things that we're doing. Blaine?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the question. A question of safety is on everyone's mind right now. We have increased campus safety patrols. Our executive director of campus safety and security, Jake Nichols, is out of the way actually here, and so I'm sure he'd be able to answer some of those questions. We have a campus safety escort where students can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to arrange for a security escort to be escorted across campus during the day or night. It doesn't matter at any point in time. We're also providing resources to students to help them navigate through this from an emotional standpoint. We've had drop-in counseling that has been utilized both in our counseling center as well as the student union building. And we're also supporting students, like President Green indicated, that if they want to leave and go home now, they absolutely can. We're going to support them in doing so.
If you want to leave and go home now, I'm sorry, you cannot. Until you've been investigated or talked to or cleared because of where you live and where you were, you're not allowed to go anywhere per police order. That should have been what was said. Not, we don't give a damn what you were doing or who you knew or where you were, blah, 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 blah. Leave. Dumb. So stupid.
Many students have questions about their academics and whatnot, but this is a very dynamic, fluid situation, and we want to make sure we're supporting students and their families to get through this the way that they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. Washington State University is about 8 miles that way. What would you suggest that
I didn't realize they asked about WSU in the conference. Oh, cray.
WSU does to make their students feel safe if they're unsafe?
Communication and encouraging students to reach out and use resources. That's a fantastic campus. I talked to their dean of students office yesterday, and they are mobilizing their support resources. All campuses have supports in place. Students just need to make sure they're leaning in and reaching out to it. And many times students don't, but we encourage that. Absolutely.
Hi, this is Hadia Thark with the Argonaut. This may be a question for Scott Green or Blaine Eccles. So with the decision to...
That's who I want to hear from. If you want to be so for real about like any of these people that were covering shit, I want to talk to the people that were actually in control of the Argonaut, because they were the ones that getting the actual like student information, because they were students too. They're the ones in the book where it says that they were looking at the yik yak for the school and Emma Bailey's name and stuff started coming up within like the first couple of hours. I would love to speak to them, the ones who were actually taking care of the Argonaut at the time of this, just to see how much of that is factual. I bet you they heard all kinds of shit that we haven't heard yet.
Cancel classes on Monday. While I understand the university is trying to remain flexible for students, why has class not been canceled for the remainder of the week?
Someone sent them to me. I have it in my email, starred as one of the very many that I have to go over. So we're going to go over it very soon. Community post on your page. No, but I can't see the community posts, guys. I've mentioned this before. I've showed you guys on my phone the way that it does it. I can't, like, I can see if there's a community post if I go through my app, but I don't get a notification. They pop up randomly, like on the bottom of my feed. It'll be like this thing across the thing. I can like them. I cannot comment on them. And on the dashboard in the back of here, I can't find where I'm supposed to be able to find those things. So it's going to pop up on my phone eventually, but usually it's like 3 days after it's been posted that I finally get the chance to see it. I don't know. I didn't even know that was like a thing until it like popped up one day, but it doesn't work right for me. So I'll see it eventually here. But no, I don't have like, I don't know if you can. Is it a thing where you can go in there and change that setting? It should be on there. Anybody else that's not me should be able to go in there and see that. But for some reason, I can't see them. I don't know why.
Well, because a number of our students still want to go to class. They gain comfort in being around their other students. They gain comfort from interacting and staying busy with their faculty and attending classes, labs. Some are working on their semester projects. So we've heard from them. At the same time, we want to provide the ability for any student who did not feel comfortable staying around, who did not want, who was unable to process that way, that they had that opportunity to go, and we've been helping them as well. All these absences are excused. We've asked our faculty to work with those students who chose to go, so we felt this was the best way, to respond, to give as much flexibility as we could to our students and our faculty to help manage the situation. And frankly, I think they've done a very, very good job. Thank you.
Is the university working with the parents or the families of the victims? Are you in touch with them?
They are. I'll turn that back over to Blaine. I know we both have been in contact with the families, but he's been very close to it. And so, Blaine, you want to take that question?
Absolutely. One of the hardest jobs I have is talking to parents of students who have died. It's the absolute worst part of my job. And so I've reached out and made contact with all the families. We've offered our support, and we're going to stay in constant contact with them. I communicated with them almost every day. We usually give it a little space and time before we reach out, just for the sheer shock of absorbing the loss of a child and what that looks like. But we're going to stay in support of them moving forward for the weeks and months to come, and in whatever capacity they need.
We've talked to a few of them, and they've expressed some frustration with the lack of communication from investigators and from the officials involved on that side of it. Has the university heard that from them? How are you working with them to help kind of close that communication gap?
Sure. I do know that Captain Barrett from the Moscow Police Department is also in constant contact with them. He reaches out to them on a regular basis. From that standpoint, I think it's safe to say everyone, the families most of all, want information, and they want justice. And I can't do anything but honor what their needs are and what they are. Whenever I hear a concern from the family members about what's going on, I definitely make sure I communicate that to the Moscow Police Department. They're very busy. They're working, the men and women of this department are working really hard on their behalf and on our community's behalf. But if I can be a conduit to share information, we're absolutely going to do that.
Has there been any update on the candlelight vigil that is postponed till after the break?
I believe it's November 30th.
November 30th.
November
What time?
We're looking at 5 or 5:30. We're trying to finalize. Well, let me say.
Yeah.
There was a candlelight vigil that was originally scheduled tonight, but because of the volume of students who have left, we want to make sure we're creating a space where they can participate. We don't want someone driving back during this time to do that. So we've rescheduled to November 30th. We haven't finalized the time. We will definitely be sharing that out to our students in our community and the larger community. We're just finalizing some details. We're going to communicate that with the families as well. It'll be on campus. We haven't figured out the location yet because we're going to be monitoring what the weather looks like. We anticipate a large amount of individuals. That being said, we also have two communities that are just providing beautiful support. There's a candlelight vigil in Boise tonight in honor of our lost students. And there's also a candlelight vigil tonight in Coeur d'Alene. And I say nothing but thank you and for the love.
This is the guy that Stacy Chapin called and yelled and screamed at whenever she was trying to figure out what was going on. He's also the one that is in the office that Jack Jacor contacted about his mental health decline. It's this guy.
Support from those communities that are supporting us. And we've seen that support come across the country and around the world for the University of Idaho and these families. And so it's a beautiful thing.
Noon. The time of the 911 call is on the damn death certificate. It's noon.
President Green, can you talk a little bit about the vandal alert that involved the knife and how the university handled it and what you found in that case?
Yeah, so basically we were just responding to the information that we had from the Moscow Police Department at that time. We have an incident response team. We gathered Sunday as we were notified by the Moscow Police Department that there had been a crime committed. At the time, we weren't sure if they were students or not, and we wanted to provide help to the Moscow Police Department, and we think we were able to do that successfully to help them, identify those students and contact their relatives. So, beyond that, it was just trying to understand what the assessment was of the risk to the campus. And we relied on our subject matter experts, as you've heard. They know more than any of us about this. And then based on that, we started making decisions about how to move forward this week.
Yeah. And so what were those decisions around that initial alert? What was the conclusion you had at that point about the level of risk?
Well, of course, your first, on the first vandal.
I'm honestly like done listening to this. Let's move on. I'm just so tired of it. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? 4 people died. There's a risk. Shut the hell up and pay attention. Carry your freaking weapon. Lock your damn doors and don't be stupid. Like, why do we have to have these dumb, redundant, stupid conversations? I find it ignorant to say and ask like certain things. It just seems like so common sense. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and watch the new stuff. This one, look at this, guys. This is insane. And they refresh it to get a good count.
It's been almost 4 months.
Steve Goncalves' name is in this. Okay? And I know people search his name on YouTube constantly. 38 views in 20 hours. Isn't that crazy? 38 views. I was shook seeing that amount. Okay. This is Steve talking about November. Was this yesterday? 20 hours ago? Something like that. And then we're going to watch Stacey Chapin's because they came out and said something too.
Since the murder trial of Bryan Kohberger came to an end with a plea deal, a deal that put Kohberger in prison for life with no chance of appeals or parole. Steve Goncalves, the father of Kaylee, one of the 4 students murdered in their off-campus house in Moscow, has been very vocal during the investigation and the trial. I spoke with Steve to see how he and his family are doing during this difficult month of November, the same month the murders happened.
Steve, how are you doing? How are you and your family doing?
Does he not look like he's lost a lot of weight? He's aged. He has aged so much over the past just few months. You can see it. You can so see it.
We've been moving on to a lot of different projects, just trying to stay positive and keep what momentum that we have. We're not dealing with the courts anymore. So, we just moved on to the organization. Chrissy started an organization in Kaylee's name.
An organization, Steve says, helps others.
Let me show y'all. Okay, so you'll know how there's flowers. There's tulips for Ethan, right? This company just dedicated this huge, beautiful purple pink dahlia flower to Kaylee. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to rebuy the Ethan Smile tulips because I really want to get like that garden thing together. I have my sunflower seeds for Dylan rounds. And then I have like this whole thing, like even have flowers designated for Kylie Rodney that I want to put in this thing. Let this play. I'm going to pull up the picture. Oh my God, this flower is so pretty. And it's like 4.5 feet tall. I want it. I want it so bad.
Families, if they ever find themselves in a dark place, helping them with things they might not know, things they themselves learned during this very difficult time surrounding their daughter's death. November is an extremely tough time for the family as the murders took place just weeks before Thanksgiving. Steve says Kaylee loved Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving was one of Kaylee's favorites. She loved to have the over-the-top options of ridiculous amount of food, and everyone was forced to sit down and go through that whole thing while football was playing in the background, and the girls were like playing board games and stuff like that. So we'll still do it in honor of her and knowing that that's what she would want us to do.
While he's mostly stayed out of the spotlight.
Look at the difference, bro. Damn. It really has just like, bam, hit him, hasn't it?
Since his last day in court, the story is still the focus of public attention, including the announcement of a Lifetime movie about the Idaho murders. Goncalves is not happy about it, but says he's at least grateful some members of the film crew have kept them informed as to what the movie would look like.
So we heard about it quite early on. And then those same individuals reach out with some photos and tell us, this is the kind of stuff I don't want to be a part of. It's pretty upsetting to see somebody labeled as your daughter, and they're dressed up as if, this is something that is entertaining. It's not entertaining for us. You have something like that happen, and then you talk to legal counsel and say, what options do we have? And
But see, that bothers me even more because they said on Chris McDonough, like last week when they did that interview, that their daughter that was off at college had no freaking idea and had just called them that morning and was like, what the frick is this? This is after Olivia's been doing this on TikTok about the movie. And after they've already come out and talked to, was it Banfield they talked to, or was it Anjanette Levy? I don't remember. It was Steve and Olivia, and it was an interview that they did right before Chris McDonough. Him and Christy did Chris McDonough. So I don't know if that was just being said to try to get some sympathy off of the situation, or if that's legit. And if it's legit, then who the frick do you think you are not telling your freaking child that this shit's going on while you're on the news running your mouth about it, and your other daughter is going off on people on TikTok? How does the other daughter not know? I need some explanation. Make that part make sense.
There's really not much you can do but just take it. So, I guess maybe just talking to you is one way that we can let people know that, hey, if you see this, they'll support it.
Steve told me he wanted to thank everyone in the Treasure Valley for supporting him and his family. It means a lot.
Oh, hold on, we got one more. Let me show you all the flour. Oh, thank you for the 1999, Duck Man. The souls of the just are in the hands of God, but we who live have no justice. Thanks for staying in the fight. Yeah, I just want the truth. I mean, their stories have not been told yet. We have no clue. We have no clue. And we just want to get to the facts. Thank you for the 5, Danny. Thank you for honoring and remembering XC and K today, and for soldiering onto the fight for truth. Have one more coffee. Oh, I will. Look at this flower. Look at it. Look at it. Look how freaking awesome this thing is. Look how awesome it is. It's not going to be available until the day after Christmas. I'm going to give y'all this link here in case any of you guys want to buy this whenever it comes out. It's with this company called Rivers Dahlias. Look how pretty that is. 4.5 feet tall. That's crazy. I know, I love it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I can't wait, honestly, because that's going to be awesome. That's going to be cool as shit. Okay. This is the last one I have queued up for us to watch together. This came out 16 hours ago. 73 views. Isn't that insane? It has Ethan's whole name in it. It literally says University of Idaho Murders. Like, my SEO brain for running a channel is saying there's no reason why this doesn't have at least 7,300 views. Weird to me. It's weird to me. I know that there's people still following this case because I still get not as much views as when everything was active, but still 10 times more than this news station. So that's just crazy to me. That's crazy. Okay, I don't know what they're saying in this. You already know how I feel about the Chapins. But I'm gonna be nice today. So let's just watch.
I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker. It's been 3 years since 4 University of Idaho students, Ethan Chapin, Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, and Xana Kernodle were killed in their off-campus home in Moscow. In the years since, each family has found ways to honor their loved ones. For Ethan's family, that's through Ethan Smiles Foundation, turning heartbreak into hope for future students.
He was an amazing kid. I mean, he's easy to talk about and, remember and bring his memory along with us.
For Stacy Chapin, honoring her son Ethan meant creating something lasting, something that reflects who he was. Within a year of the tragedy, the Chapins founded Ethan's Smile, a nonprofit providing scholarships for students in their hometown of Skagit County, Washington.
I think we were driving in the car one day and Jim was like, we need to scholarship kids in Skagit County. I mean, the premise came from, it was important for us to provide an education to our kids if they wanted it, at least so that they could stand on their own 2 feet one day, is kind of what we always say. And it just became a real obvious thing to do, to turn around and do the same thing for other kids in Ethan's name.
To date, Ethan Smile Foundation has awarded $105,000 in scholarships to
That's a lot. See, this kind of stuff, I'm all for it. I'm all for something being done in someone's name that's giving out to someone else. So when it comes to scholarships, we see the money's going somewhere. Now, I don't know how much money they're getting. Are they giving it all in scholarships? Who knows? I'm not their freaking accountant. But this is cool. I like the fact that they have created something that's more of like a pay it forward. 83 people, 83 scholarships. How many kids are getting to actually continue their education that maybe they wouldn't have been able to before because of these scholarships? I think this kind of stuff is cool.
83 students, many bound for college, trade programs, or even beauty and real estate schools. And every year on November.
Trade school stuff. I like that. I'm glad that they are including that kind of stuff, because a lot of times when you want to go to like beauty school or real estate school or learn how to do taxes or like certain things trade wise, you can't do FAFSA stuff for that. You can't get student loans and stuff for that. So that's cool. I actually like that.
November 13th, instead of mourning quietly, the family hosts an auction. This year's theme, Hoops, Hops, and High Tops, raising tens of thousands of dollars to keep the mission alive.
A scholarship auction that has become an incredible thing, and also a great place to put like our time and energy this week. It's, we're busy and swamped, and, you don't have a lot of time to, go to the places that are tougher. We all look forward to it. It's really fun. I mean, this year it's like 136 of our closest friends and family.
The scholarship and tulip sales, another community-driven effort that sends yellow and white blooms across the country, are part of what Stacy calls choosing light.
It's funny. I had somebody just text me the other day that was like, you're doing great things. And I'm like, but I don't have an option. I in my mind, you just have to do right by everybody. It's Maisie and Hunter deserve that. And that's been the greatest thing we've done. Like, my role as a mom, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a horrific thing that we have been through, but Maisie and Hunter deserve the same mom and dad that they've had also. And that motivates us. That motivates everything we do. I cannot let this thing ruin my family. I mean, it took one, it can't take any more.
The family now raises more than $50,000 a year, and Stacy says each scholarship given is a reminder that Ethan's joy and his
$150,000 a year. That's a lot of money.
His smile live on in others.
You actually have a choice when faced with the worst case scenario or any scenario in your life. You kind of have a choice how you're going to handle it. I mean, you could crawl in and just call it a day, but that wouldn't get us anywhere. Or we just decided to take what we've been dealt and move forward.
And they're not alone. The families of Ethan's friends have also built legacies in their honor. Kaylee's Kindness Foundation, the Xana Kernodle Scholarship, and Live Like Maddie Foundation, each turning grief into good.
The Chapin family says they plan to continue Ethan Smile scholarships for years to come, helping students across Skagit Valley and beyond stand on their own 2 feet. For more information on how you can contribute, you can head to this story on IdahoNews6.com. I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, Idaho News 6.
Yeah, see, that scholarship stuff, I find it cool. If they can turn something around, that's fine. My problem with what Stacy Chapin and Jim Chapin are doing is because, like, I get wanting to move forward. I'm not stupid. I'm not some asshole. Like, I get it. But whenever you sit there and say that, like, going through the documents and learning the truth doesn't serve you, how can you truthfully move forward? How can you truthfully move on without knowing what the hell happened, without actually looking at the facts and seeing what's going on? You can't. You are pretending. And honestly, I feel like Stacy's too smart for this shit. She should know that this is a temporary Band-Aid. That one day, a decade down the line, it's going to hit her. And she's going to wish that she would have learned the truth, that she would have looked at the documentation, that she would have looked at the facts, because it's never going to stop. She cannot sit there and pretend like it's not in the back of her mind constantly. So this front thing that she's doing, what good is that doing her actual kids that are left? That is like, that's literally like, okay, we're just going to ignore all of our problems and move on like nothing happened. That's why shit always repeats itself. And not to say that someone's going to die, but whenever this stuff all comes back to them, it's going to come back to them all collectively because they all collectively chose to look past the truth and act like it didn't happen. I could never be one of the people that says, learning the truth doesn't serve me. I'm sorry? No. The scholarship stuff is cool. I like the scholarship stuff. I like they're doing something to where it's not selfish. It's not going all to them. Whatever comes in, they're pushing it out there. What other way to keep somebody's name alive than to constantly have their name on a scholarship that gets handed out to these different people that are going through all these different classes year after year so that they can carry that. They can tell that story at graduation. Man, I wouldn't have been able to even finish these classes if it wasn't for Ethan Smile Foundation. I like this. I like the scholarship thing. I don't like the whole now they're twin thing. That's just always going to bother me. That's always going to bother me. I could not have sent them back just in general, but to know that they went back and Hunter was in that room where he could see 1122 out of his window literally every single day. Like, why would you want to put your kid through that? In the name of free tuition, why would you want to put your kid through that? That's where my problems are with that stuff. I know, and they're totally okay with it. All because of what with the DMV. I don't even believe that story, yo. Like, I really don't. These are grown-ups. These are grown-ups. So I don't know why somebody at the DMV like wouldn't have. A, why are you asking? Like, this is like school picture day. And B, my biggest problem with that story is why the hell is it still showing that Ethan's alive in the DMV system? Shouldn't it show deceased next to his name? So I just don't understand why that question was asked. I don't believe it was asked. I just think it's a story that they're using to justify it. I don't think it happened. I think it's a lie. As a matter of fact, yes, I was looking at the document a few minutes ago as something else was playing, and he approved the damn restitution, which is also just so stupid because it's never going to get paid. So why are we doing this? Like, it's dumb. Like, it's not a win. It's not anything that's going to, like, that's special. It's not like it's going to do anything. But yeah, no, there's an answer. Let's see. So there's like two different documents. I don't really quite understand why, because they're for basically the same thing. But then like there's a separate one for just the Goncalveses, which I don't stand why. I just don't. This one is 6 pages, and it basically just like runs down the amount, what it's for, which is the earns. I don't really quite understand like what the big deal is with this kind of stuff, because it was supposed to have all been covered already. And I honestly, like, I don't even really want to read this whole thing because we listened to the hearing and there's nothing like case fact or anything in this. But it got approved. Like, it's just now, like, it's going to be tacked on to the, like, I think it's like $300,000 now. Let's look at the case summary. Yeah, this is where it's at now as of 11/13/25, $300,551. Oh, there must just be this other one missing because this only shows one of them on here. See? So there's a full order, which is the one I just gave you guys a link to, which is this one right here. And it just, again, it just like breaks down the amounts that were already given and how much everything was. That's all this one does. This one is the one for the Goncalves' restitution, where it just says that it is hereby entered against the defendant and in favor of Stephen Christie Goncalves in the amount of $1,420 with a judgment rate interest of 9.125%. So I'm guessing that the other one is just the same thing, but when it comes to Karen, but like I said, like the big document is basically like everything just put together. But that's That's where it's at with that information. We're still waiting on this stuff right here. We are still waiting on all of these different documents, text messages and testimony information. Oh, I want this like so bad. So bad. Then we have these states exhibits from experts, which will be interesting. Rebuttals, like we have all of their information coming out. I honestly I know that there's been a few things about the grand jury that not the grand jury, but the jury questionnaires that I found interesting, like the way that they're full of shit when it comes to the IgG story and telling people to pay attention to certain terms when it comes to the DNA. But other than that, like everything else is pretty much like standard. So I'm not going to go over like the jury questionnaire stuff unless it's something like very, specific. The statistical analysis information is going to be interesting because I'm pretty sure that's where we first found out about the DNA being under Maddie's left fingernail clippings, like in the fingernail clippings. The 911 call information, like we pretty much have all that, but this right here. Information about the timing advance records. Like I understand that this is like an exhibit. I hope it actually gives us the exhibit because so far we're not really seeing the exhibits attached. We're seeing the arguments around the exhibits, but they're not giving us the exhibits themselves. How many documents is this? 88 to, oh my God, almost 100. And it goes all the way up to January. Will we get to see it? Remember that closed session that we had in January where we ended up getting the transcript, and that's where we found out about how that's the first time that we had clarification, like real clarification from Brett Payne about there being a lead suspect, then them getting Bryan's name from the FBI, and then getting the information back about the 2 unknown male DNA. That transcript, I wonder if they actually recorded it. Can they release it? I wonder if they have it recorded and we can watch it. That'd be interesting. Because they're going all the way up to 1/2/25. So after this drop, and I'm surprised they've done so many because the other two were like 40 a piece. This is going to definitely take a lot longer. I'm pretty sure. There was one response from the state. No, this is the defense. The state filed one, and I could have sworn there it is. See, they did file information. Some of them they're like, nah. Some of them are like, no, we need certain things redacted. Like this one right here about Mallory, like they want certain cell phone numbers and stuff redacted. Consistent with item 94 above, this item maybe would require redactions with which references testimony at the grand jury proceeding. I want that. I want that. But yeah, now we wait. So many on here. Oh my God. Like just their responses alone is 32 pages. Okay, so look at this one right here. Exhibits to defendant's supplemental response to request for discovery regarding expert witnesses. Look how many stipulations the state has for this release. Holy shit. Just for this one doc. That's crazy. That's insane. But yeah, that's it so far. We're still waiting on more info. But I guess that's pretty much it. But I wanted to just go through some of the original stuff. It's just crazy how the story evolved. Like, I know that the cops didn't obviously know too very much when all this started. But the secrecy started like really early and it made no sense. And I know that Chief Fry has come out and been like, I regret taking so long. I should have been in front of the camera earlier. I don't think that you would have even if you really wanted to, or maybe you wanted to and you were told you couldn't, because there's no way that y'all didn't get y'all's story together first. For you to come out and be like, oh yeah, they were awake the whole time and they weren't injured and blah, 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 8 hours, but oh, we can't tell you who called 911. Why keep that secret? No, not a hostage situation. But oh, we can't tell you if they were all in one room or separate. Who would that have hurt? Crazy. Actually, we're going to go through Eric Warner's body cam soon. Like, I know that we have body cams to catch up on. We still need to watch Gunderson's together. Warner's is where I really realize that that bell is not what people think it is. It's not. So around like the 4 o'clock hour in Eric Warner's body cam, it chimes like a shit ton and plays a tune and then chimes some more. And it never stops at like 4 chimes. Like I sat there and I counted and I was like, okay, so it must be 4 o'clock, like checking the thing, like making sure the timestamp's right. And then it just keeps on going and it makes more noise and it chimes some more and they're like separate chimes. I don't really quite know what the frick that thing is doing. Because I wasn't expecting to hear what I heard on Eric Warner's body cam whenever that thing started going off. I was expecting to hear ding, 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 whatever the 4 chimes are. There was a lot more to it than that. So I'm not really quite sure. We're going to watch it and you guys can see what I'm talking about and you'll probably already heard it. Wild stuff. So this is what I'm about to do. I got some stuff I got to handle with the kids. I guess I don't know what to do first. We'll probably do Bethany's interview tonight. We'll probably do Bethany's interview tonight and we'll go live about whatever the frick they sent me. Unless it's good, unless there's like actual information in what ISP sent me, we're going to do Bethany's interview tonight because we still have some of the smaller interviews to do. So yeah, I'll decide and let you guys know. I'll put the thumbnail up, but it'll either be Bethany's interview, which will be longer because it's like almost an hour and a half, I think. Plus I run my mouth a lot. Or it'll be the documents that there's no actual responsive documents for. Jesus Christ. It'll be that. It'll be that. But thank y'all for coming in here with me today. I'm sorry if I was a few minutes late. I hope Slade fixed his clock because I don't know what the frick that's all about. That's on the computer. And he was actively on it playing video games. So I don't know why the clock stopped like that. Right at 1:43. That's crazy stuff. But yeah, I'll put the thing up, let you guys know what we're doing here soon. I'm probably going to be like away from my computer for the next like 2.5, 3 hours or so probably. So it'll probably be like 7:45, 8:15. That's about as like early as I can see my mind being able to do that for now. But thank you guys for being in here with me. This was really super important to me. I really wanted today to be about going through the story and just clocking the differences and having a discussion because Kaylee and Maddie and Xana and Ethan deserve for this to be talked about until the truth comes out. And until the truth comes out, we're going to be talking about it. We're going to talk about some other things too, but we're going to talk about it. Thank you so much for you new members. Anybody who came in here today, super stickers, super chats, gifted memberships, all of you. And like I always say, what's more important than anything else is y'all's time because y'all could be doing a million other things in y'all's little limited lives than sitting here listening to me rant. But y'all chose to be here and I very much appreciate it. I do. I very much do. Y'all have a great afternoon. I will see you guys in a little bit. Thank you because I got so many more. As soon as we get done with 11, 12, oh, there's so many more. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and roll this out.
Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already.
All right, you guys. See y'all.